Hello, welcome back. We're doing another RuPaul's Drag Race review, and I'm going to try and make it quick and snappy because literally these get longer and longer every time I film it. These are getting like 50 minutes, and I could just not edit them. Like, I've considered I could just not do that, but I just, you know, and especially as my days are going to be just now every single day, it's going to be revise for this exam, and then do this exam, and then read this book, and write part of a screenplay, and film a video, and edit a video. I'm going to be very tempted to go, I just won't edit that. But I'm going to have to, because like half of this is shit. You don't understand, I'm not a good person or personality. So, let's get into it. Once again, I always forget something from the previous episode, where Britt is like, we love you, and then Widow was like, fake, and also everyone was like, yeah, go Aiden, even though we were literally all like, gunning for you, because they were. Facts are facts, America. Also, England, I live in England, so please listen to me. And like, it isn't really important now, because that didn't come up again this week, and I... Excuse me. And also Britt is gone. But yeah, that was just something I really didn't get. And obviously they're all sisters, but the fakery is real. But that's another storyline that just kind of ended. A bit like the Gigi. I haven't watched this episode's Untucked yet, so I'll put an insert like I usually do. But like the Gigi and Heidi storyline just vanished. Like, they had it at the end in an Untucked, and the next episode they kept talking about it, but never actually resolving it. And then it wasn't even mentioned in this week's episode, so I'm not sure what's happened to that. So, in this week's, cold open, we have... Basically, it's all about Jan crying, and whether Jan was crying because she didn't win the challenge, or whether Britta went home. I think it was a bit of both. I think it was more... She's even said on Instagram, it was a lot more about her not winning than she made it out to be. It was probably a lot more 50-50. But also, I understand... I think because this season has really, for the most episodes, apart from actually this episode, really, most episodes they've picked like 2 or 3 queens they're just going to praise every week. And so a load of people like Widow, Jan, and Jada, despite Widow and Jada winning the first 2 challenges, they just, for most episodes, they've been safe. Jan literally only got critiqued 3 times in 8 episodes. And the first episode... Actually, yeah, and the only time that was a voluntary thing was in episode 7, because in her first episode, and in this episode, everyone got critiqued. So, I will say that was also a bit weird for me. I think the reason these challenges work better when it's 7 or 6 people is because obviously you have to watch them as you critique the girls. 8 people on stage being critiqued at the same time felt like quite a lot. To me, anyway. I was like, oh, this is, a lot. And I was thinking, I was like, this episode's going by real quickly, and then I realised, oh my god, the critiques are taking years, that's why. So yeah, Jan's upset. That's basically it. We move through the titles, we come back, this is like our second proper mini-challenge this season. That's actually, like, it's, because the runway in the first 2 was part of the main challenge. The lining people up is fun, but isn't really a challenge. The pill thing was random. So yeah, I think they just aren't... They don't like doing mini-challenges anymore. But wasn't there like a season? Was it like season 7 or 8? Or I feel like 9? I don't know. It got to like a season where there were like literally like no mini-challenges. And people were rioting, so they've kind of half brought them back. This one was basically just a altered version of the Libraries Open to fit a sponsor. So I don't think this has replaced the reading challenge. I'll be very upset if it did, because that's like, you've already got rid of the puppet challenge, which I was really sad about. So yeah, it was fine though, and I kind of liked that it was quite quick. It didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. They got into pairs assigned by Ru. There wasn't a whole load of, like, this is why you're with this person. I honestly think Ru just kind of was like, yeah, you two, and you two, and you two. Okay, sure. Gigi and Jackie versus, who are they against? Jada and Crystal. And Jackie was definitely the best. If it had been a solo win, Jackie would have won. And Gigi was pretty good, but like, they were definitely the best team. And overall, that group of 4 was better than the other one. It just felt a bit more... It felt a bit more like they were friends, but they were being bitchy. Whereas the second group was a lot more like, It felt like just random people talking to each other. Also, Jada's 5-minute mug is a wonder to behold. Chi-Chi and Jackie don't win anything related to the challenge. This is what bothers me. Like, I'm fine with them making the challenges money prizes rather than... I mean, especially considering there was a lot of problems with the prizes they were offering with people not getting them. You know, relying on other companies sometimes. I'm just doing this. Relying on other companies to sort out the prizes. But now all the mini challenges are just cash prizes. It's like, there's no fun. And, like, it seems so little, but, like, 20 minutes to film an advert isn't very long. So I thought it would have been, like, you get an extra 10 minutes or extra 15 minutes or something. Like, that just makes sense. And also, in the material challenge, and then the bee challenge, it used to always be, you get a 10-second head start, which makes sense. But then I think it used to be a lot more, like, cut and run for, like, the materials. Now they're a lot more diplomatic. So, they find out the challenge is Droop. Dahlia Broccoli is in the sign, but, like, I didn't even notice her at first. Droop, you know, an expensive lifestyle brand, and it's that sort of idea, like the Kardashians and stuff, who are like, buy my $1,000 makeup brush, and you're like, why? But okay, you know, you buy into it. And it's the same marketing challenge. They do it a lot. They always, you know, the perfume challenge. In All Stars 2, they had to sell, you know, a random item. They had to do one in Drag Race UK. It was water, wasn't it? They had to do their own brand of water. Pardon me. Now, these aren't my favourite challenges overall, but they're not like my least favourite. They're not like the makeover challenges where I'm just like, oh my god, please get this over with. Yeah, they're pretty good. I think it just depends on the cast. And I will say, for the first time this season, the overall quality wasn't as high. It wasn't bad, but I feel like there's been, you know, I thought the Snatch Game, there was a lot of good performances, and I thought the Madonna Rusical in particular was so hard to judge. It was I think it's one of the best episodes, one of the best musicals of the whole show, if I'm honest. And it's kind of a step down to have this episode where, like, a lot of people were just sort of, you did good, you know, you were fine. In the workroom, they have their, like, that is he a fitness guru? He's a man, and he comes along with Ru. He's wearing, okay, someone needs to clock the shoes. He was wearing, like, boots that had, like, a little, like, had, like, a separate toe hole. It was so weird. I was so confused. Okay, if you go back and look, it looks like, at least on when he's walking around the room, not so much when he's directing, I was looking for it, but I couldn't see them. I swear, he's got, like, a boot, and then at the end of the sort of the shoe, it, like, comes in where the big toe would be, and then goes back out, like he's, like, wearing socks with sandals. It's so weird, and I don't understand the practicality of it, but okay. And they go around, like, these were pretty forgettable all round to me. I feel like the walk-arounds in these challenge always are. They're just like, here's your product. The one with Heidi was hilarious, but that's because Heidi's hilarious. But yeah, this episode will probably, hopefully be quite quick, because I haven't got a lot to say about a lot of things. Move on. Who cares? They film them all, and I will say I kind of like that they are... This new editing thing that I've really noticed this season is they'll show a few people that are, like, the important ones, but they do go through everyone. You see a little glimpse of at least everyone, like they did with the Madonna Rusical when they did the recording of the vocals. So Gigi isn't presented as doing very well in her filming, and I wasn't really sure what to do with that, because they did the same thing in the Madonna Rusical. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Neither did Widow. Crystal and Jackie are both presented as lunatics. Crystal, yeah, because Crystal was very chaotic. But I didn't get why the director guru man didn't understand what Jackie was doing. I got it. It was very... And hold the frame, and then it's there, and then she was like, get the merkin. Someone get the merkin. And he's like, what is he talking... What's Jackie talking about? It's like, get the merkin. Never thought I'd say that. Never thought I'd say that in my whole life. I got it. I got the whole concept. You know, I loved that she was definitely doing a I Dream of Jeannie. We did actually get a little bit, like, around in the workroom where she talked about Jeannie and how amazing it was, because she spoke... Did she speak Persian? I can't remember, but she like spoke, you know, a language that wasn't. You didn't see that on telly. There was no representation for people with Jackie's background. It was like, no, you Persian heritage. We don't know her. Excuse me, who are you? And I didn't really think about it that way, but I guess, yeah, wow, I guess that was quite a big moment for people. And yeah, I don't know though. It was weird. I had like a deep gut feeling that Jackie was gonna do well, but I was like, but she's not gonna win. I don't know if she is gonna win a challenge. Full stop. I feel like I thought Jan was being set up for like the Ms. Cracker spot. But obviously this is a spoiler review. Now that she's gone, I think she's gone too soon to be a Ms. Cracker. I think Jackie's gonna be a Ms. Cracker. I think she has a good chance of making it to the end, but I also think Jackie has a good chance of like making top 5 or top 6 and then going home without, you know, maybe winning one challenge, but probably not any. So yeah, just thought I'd put my thoughts out on that. A little prediction. Who else do we see filming? We don't see Voldemort. Oh, Jan is very all over the place. And I was like, oh, this is a bit. But I'll get more to that in her performance. They're doing their makeup, and they probably said something important. Probably something was said. They did impressions of each other. And I was, because, Alison did that thing that they've done a few times this season where they're like, speaking of sisters, and I was like, oh no, and then she was like, who can, and I was like, who, like, I was assuming she's gonna be like, oh, how's your sister? I don't know anything about your family backstory at all. But actually, no, they then were like, who can you do impressions of each other? And I was like, oh, that's a good surprise. Jade as one of Aiden was so shady. But it was so funny though. That was so funny. I was like, okay. These are the reasons I like Jada. I've had moments where I think sometimes she comes off as a little bit cold, but I think I've just come around to it that she's she's focused. And she can have fun. She is funny. I also just don't think she's like buddy-buddy with everyone. I was talking about it in Jimmy Pink's live stream. The New York girls, it's very irritating because every season the New York girls have a clique. And there's always this thin, there's this not so subtle veil of superiority just sort of amongst them. And I'm not saying they're all egotistical. Most of them are egotistical. But there's just always, especially when there's like more of them, because there were 5 this season? 5 or 6? Can't remember. But they're just like, we're from New York. New York. We are New York. I mean, honestly, one of the few people I think who hasn't had that is probably Peppermint, honestly. Aja definitely had it, during season 9 at least. I think Alexis had it. I think season 10 was alright, actually. I think the New York girls in season 10 weren't too obnoxious when it comes to being from New York. But this season, it's just like, Jan keeps talking about being from New York. Britta kept talking about being from New York. Gigi does have like an egotisticalness, you know, I'm very conceited, and I think she's getting a bit ahead of herself and like, I'm going to win. Which is obviously probably a lot due to the fact that they've just been giving her nothing but positive praise for the whole season so far. But also probably the New York thing builds into it a bit. I think Jackie's condescending attitude that she sometimes has is probably from her being from New York. I think Nikki had little moments where I was like, that's not very nice. Especially with the whole Aiden thing. I feel like, although obviously other people talked about it, I feel like it was Aiden versus Team New York. And you might be asking, Aaron, why are you talking about this? And I'm talking about this because there was nothing else to talk about this episode. I'm sorry. So, again, I'll add an insert when I talk about Untucked if there's anything I missed, but I just don't think this was a very eventful episode. I think everything really whizzed by, especially in the workroom when they were doing their makeup. So, RuPaul comes out, in a lovely dress. And the guest judge is Shaka Khan. I love Ain't Nobody. That's my favourite Shaka Khan song. And they seem to have made it a thing now. They're just doing a lot more singular judges rather than always having two, which was like a thing they used to almost always have, apart from the first guest judge, who was like the big one. Which I kind of like. It also feels like, I'm not saying just because you're like a slightly unknown celebrity, like you're not worthy of getting a judging spot, but sometimes they'd literally be like, here's this person, I'd be like, who is this? Like, they'd be like, they're from this show, and I'm like, never heard of it. And it's just bizarre. And sometimes it's just like, who is this random person? I don't know who they are. So I would prefer it if they just used a few less judges, but are focused on getting big ones like Shaka Khan and Robin and Whoopi Goldberg coming up, you know. That floats my boat. So, the runway theme is Black Wedding. Gonna get it over with now. Terrible runway theme. Why? Let me break it down for you. First of all, monochromatic runways are always risky because naturally you've now got everyone wearing the exact same colour, especially with black, where there aren't different shades of black. You're like, okay, they're going to blend in together, they're not going to be very easy to distinguish, you've got to do a lot more to stand out. And I don't know if they've ever done just a black runway. I know they've done white, and they used to do a lot of promo themes that were like black, or black and silver, black and gold, you know. But I don't know if they've ever done on the runway like black, eleganza. So it was kind of new, but then Black Wedding, and I'm like, so now not only do they have to wear the same colour, they all have to wear the same somewhat limited array of clothing, because I would say a lot of people weren't wearing dressing gowns. That'd be iconic because I just came out the dressing gown. But like, some people weren't really wearing wedding dresses because it's hard to make a black wedding dress stand out. And when I talk about people's looks, you'll be hearing me a lot say, I mean, it was fine, but I don't really remember a lot about it. It wasn't that good, you know. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that, like, wow, because it's a black wedding dress next to 7 other black wedding dresses. Also, Dragula, I'm not saying Drag Race did steal it. I mean, they might have. But Dragula did the Gothic Wedding challenge first, in season 2. And Gothic Wedding is a much better theme, because wedding, okay, yes, you're still somewhat limited by the kind of outfit you have to have. But Gothic, you can do anything with Gothic. First up, Jackie Cox. Didn't love this. It was very... I get that her thing is she's like a different era every week, you know. But it just was a bit... uninteresting. It was... I understand it's black, it's difficult, but I just don't think that kind of dress works in black because it's a bit murky. You can't really see the details. You're like, what the fuck are you wearing? It was a bit plain. I wasn't a fan. Then we had Jan. Now, this is an unpopular opinion. I didn't like her dress. And I feel like I don't usually have that dramatic difference of opinions from the judges and the fan base. But everyone's just going, oh, it's beautiful, it's the best she's ever looked. And I was just like, I don't like this dress. I don't like it at all. It's not a wedding dress, first and foremost. Didn't like the back. I thought the I don't was a nice idea, but because I don't think it really fit with the rest of it, and it was just printed in big bold letters, and it wasn't very easy to see at first because it wasn't on a flat piece of fabric. It was on sort of the bottom of it got cut off, and it was obviously curved sort of around the back of her, so it was a bit like, what does that say at first? I thought it said I do, and then I said, oh, I don't, okay. And I got that she put the ring in her mouth and, swallowed it. But I didn't like the big things coming out of her, sort of the big feathers. It wasn't my favourite. It's a personal taste thing. I mean, her makeup was gorgeous. I think that's maybe her best makeup this whole season. Her face was beautiful. But it just wasn't my cup of tea, I'm afraid. Also, I'll also say now that I couldn't stand the dress she wore for the lip sync. The sort of reveal, and it also did the wedding dress looked fine with the hair, but once she took it off, the hair and the short dress did not go. The gloves didn't go when she was on a short dress. It just wasn't a thing. Wasn't a moment. And then I've forgotten now which order they went in. So I guess I will. Who will I do next? The suspense. So, okay, I think you could argue that Gigi's doesn't look a lot like a wedding dress. However, I think my difference with this, if you did turn her dress white, I could totally see someone getting married in that. And it was a classic idea. It wasn't, I don't know if someone would wear that now, but it was very, I think, 50s. I liked it. Obviously, it was Dior, the new look. You know, it was everything. That's not the first time we've seen that on the runway. Violet Chachki wore a similar silhouette and, you know, similar idea. But I thought her hair looked amazing with this outfit. It was kind of different for Gigi. It was a bit more dramatic because the skirt was so big. It's probably the most dramatic thing she's worn all season. And I thought was she wearing Louboutins? I don't know if they're like the red bottoms. I don't know if I know Louboutins do have red bottoms. She had a red bottom shoe on, like a stiletto or something. And that look was it was an amazing shoe, but the fact it was the red bottom, you could see when she turned around, and then she had the red lip, and that was basically all the colour she had. It was a great look. I loved it. Yes, and I insist that it is actually a wedding dress, so come for me, please. Jada. So I see people complaining that Jada's dress was too simple, not draggy enough. I thought it was... Jada's dress was very beautiful. I mean, her picture on Instagram was actually like a wedding photo. Even down to the detail, you could see like someone like in the frame like fixing her dress for the photo. You know, it was just... Jada pulls off realness better than maybe any queen on the whole show, because you have to listen to the dog barking because I can't stop it. I can't. Yes, her outfits are wearable. You know, I think I could definitely see someone wearing, even the black version, like this, the way she wore it, I could see someone wearing that for a wedding. Her hair was draggy, but real. I could see someone wearing that hair. Her mug, beat, but like, it never feels basic. It never feels like she hasn't put effort in. It never feels like she's resting on pretty. It's, I don't know, she's just an enigma that I want to know more about every day. And I'll say now, they called her a dark horse. Also, I pulled off all my nails. Like, I'm not releasing my gel nail thing for like 2 weeks, and I've already taken them off because they were bothering me. Love making decisions. Like, they called her a dark horse, right? And I was like, where have you been? Because not only has she been turning looks out every season, she's been here the whole time, every episode. She also won her first challenge, and has only placed low once, and it wasn't even in the bottom 3. She was just like, you weren't great this week. So, not sure about that. I mean, just because the judges aren't noticing her doesn't make her a dark horse. I would say Heidi or Crystal are the dark. Maybe even Crystal more than Heidi, because Crystal, I think, I kind of resided myself a couple episodes ago, like she's not going to make it very far. And now she's turning it out. She's on an upward, what's the opposite of a decline? A climb? So yeah, good Jada, well done. Then we had Widow. Now, I didn't hate the dress, actually. I thought it was very glamorous. I liked the makeup, I liked everything with it. However, I don't think it was a wedding dress. I just think it wasn't quite. It was more just like a nice black dress. I kind of liked like the diamond veil she had. It was very beautiful. And that's kind of it. It wasn't my favourite, but it was very beautiful. I did like it. It wasn't my favourite. And then we had Heidi. This probably looks like her most expensive outfit so far. I'm not sure if it is. But it makes the dress she wore on her first episode, puts to shame. And I loved the way the shoulders were. I thought the mini veil was very funny. I thought her makeup was very good. If you look at her Instagram photo, you can really see how her makeup has improved since the show, because it's even better. It's real. She always was beautiful, but now it's like she's perfected it. She has like I think in the photos on Instagram, she's got like a black and red like ombre lip. You know, it's very well blended. I was like, okay, we love to see growth. But like the whole dress just looked quite expensive for Heidi. There's not meant to be an insult, but Heidi's made no secret that she hasn't got unlimited funds. You know, she can't get outfits that Nikki or Gigi might be able to get. well, I mean, Gigi, well, she doesn't necessarily, because she can't afford what Nikki has, and she can't make what Gigi does. But yeah, really, it was a great week for Heidi, and I was really happy. I was like, oh my god, she's doing well. She could win it. And then we have Crystal, who just claimed my heart. Just claimed it. Because... like, she's just so smart. And I love that she kind of does, like, have a horror-y side to her. I forgot about the Freddy Krueger look, and I was like, oh my god, she's like a horror queen. Honestly, I think Crystal would have been much more successful on Dragula than Drag Race. I feel like they would have accepted her a bit more. But, you know, I'm glad that she's on Drag Race, because Drag Race does have a bigger audience than Dragula does. But, you know, I kind of think of an alternate universe, maybe she could have won, who knows? Yes, Crystal's look was lovely. It was very Corpse Bride mixed with the zombie from Hocus Pocus. I liked this. She had the two like different sides of the lip, and her lip shape is always different. Like I think that not enough people mentioned she does change her makeup. With the devil, her lip shape was different. With this, it was a lot wider, a lot more like a smile. I was just like, yeah. And then she went to the detail of not having any fingers on the gloves. She had long nails. The dog's going wild. She looks very Woman in Black, which I'm a fan of. So let's go through their presentations. Jackie was very good. For you. that was what got me. I loved that she kept turning back to the camera. I love that it was very classic. It was a very, you know, you could tell the reference she was trying to go for. And it was just funny. I just enjoyed it. It was like quite nice. And then we had Jan. Too crazy. It got better as it went on because it calmed down a little bit. But from the beginning, she was like, whoa, Jantastic! And it's just like, okay. And also, like, I do like the Jan puns. But there is a time and a place, and sometimes they are unwarranted, and they are too much. I was very worried. I was just like, oh no, this was pretty bad. It wasn't very good. And I didn't even like her runway, so I was just like, oh no, obviously they all did. There was a lot of moments on the runway where they would come out and they just go, it's breathtaking. Like, there was no funny commentary. It was just, oh my god, she's iconic and stunning. Then we have Gigi's. So Gigi's, I got what she was going for, and I'm better than you, you know, and then it was a bit, with the comedic timing, I got the critique. It was a very good critique, it made sense. You have the funny one third, you don't have the funny one second. She was going for a dry sense of humour, which can work. I think what kind of stood out for me is when she was like, enough of your like 3 wins and 2 mini challenge wins, and I was like, cocky, you know, you're getting very cocky. Because, you can't, I mean, it's not even her fault. I mean, it's the judges who have been gassing her up this whole time. But I hope this brings her back down to earth, because otherwise she might stumble. Also, I'm going to say now, she has had a little bit of a controversy. On her story, someone, I think it was an Instagram story, someone's, like, screenshotted her being like, being queer is a privilege, you know, if you don't think so, you're not doing it right. It wasn't that, I don't think it was that bad, but she said something along the lines, she definitely said the thing, being queer is a privilege. And obviously people were like, oh, well, you know, my cousin got murdered in another country for being gay. So, you know, great privilege. And yeah, that's I get what they're saying. It was quite insensitive, actually. Because that phrase, on its own, out of context, can sound really bad. However, I don't know if there's any evidence to support this, but people have said there was more to that story. There wasn't just that one story she posted. She doesn't randomly post being queer is a privilege. She posted probably before and after that statement, and it was clear that she was saying, like, it being able to do this queer art, I enjoy, and, you know, people should take this opportunity. Like, I think being a queer artist would have been made more sense. I think it's because she ended it at being queer. And out of context, you think she's just talking about being part of the LGBT community, whereas she meant being a queer artist, which it still has some negative connotations. It's a bit dodgy. Jada was very funny when she said she was a failed actress. She gave just a good performance. She was like, you know, it's just the way she said things. She had passion. She had jokes. She wasn't my favourite. I don't think she should have won. But I got it, and the fact that she went to the detail, she had the same wig that was a character called Shonda Rhimes or something like that had in the Grey's Anatomy. It was a funny joke, And I liked the idea that she carried on this continuity. I don't know. It's like the one challenge she didn't do well in was Grey's Anatomy, so why not find a way to make that funny and help you in another challenge? Widows was the worst. Widows was definitely the worst. It just wasn't... I got what she was going for when she kept, like, turning to that camera and this one and that one and this one. But it was just too dry. I mean, again, it wasn't even awful. It wasn't terrible. It definitely isn't the worst challenge we've seen, you know, in this category, but wasn't very good. It was pretty bad. Then Heidi's was really funny. I mean... Yeah. I mean, I had a couple... I think sometimes the pacing seemed a bit weird, but apart from that, the tears bit was hilarious. The bit where she was bald, I found that funny. I thought that was just... I really enjoyed that. And she just has so much personality. It's just like, I love her. And maybe you'll be like that you're biased, and I'll be like, you're correct, okay, go away. So Crystal was my favourite video. The fact that she wore her mullet, and she was smart. She didn't do an Elder Barge themed thing, because she doesn't know who the hell Elder Barge is. I don't know who that person is either. They didn't even bring them up this week. I thought they would, but they didn't. But she was like, Rue loves my mullet, so I'm going to do something about my mullet. And the fact that when it was the ridiculousness of what was happening, when she was hammering some wigs on like a wooden table, and that was her like science experiments, and then how bad the band looked, obviously deliberately. I feel like she really, like, leaned into, like, not just making it a cream or a spray or, you know, I feel like she's the only person who kind of went, yes, this is a stupid fucking product, because it looked terrible on the models, but that was the joke. I feel like she got it. She was the one who made the most fun out of the entire concept, which is why I enjoyed it. And I loved when she was just in her blonde wig, like, I wish I could be... cool like you. That was funny. I enjoyed that. I liked the whole like 80s theme to it. Yeah, it was very good. She was my favourite. Rather oddly, they divided it straight up into 4 low, 4 high, rather than 2 safe people. So we had the top 4 agreed with, the deserved. I think either Crystal or Heidi should have won. I kind of would have liked a joint win, because we haven't had one this season yet. But Heidi wins, and I was so happy for her. I would love Crystal to win a challenge. I do think it's not as likely now that she's only got a few episodes left to do so. But I also think Crystal should be very proud of herself. I would have personally chosen Crystal over Heidi just a little bit. But, like, I'm not bitter at all. I think Heidi deserved the win. Heidi's lovely. Like, Heidi pops into Jimmy Pink's live streams just to say hi. She's a friend of the show. Not this show, Jimmy Pink's show. She's just lovely. And I feel like... I don't think I expected her to have a win. And I do think... if you statistically tallied it up, she's still not going to make it to the top 4/5, depending on what happens with Miss Mossy. But... but... she has won a challenge. So now she's actually got a step above, you know, people like Jackie, who haven't won a challenge yet. The only people left who haven't won any challenges are Crystal and Jackie. Oh, I've got like a heartburn. Oh, no. Yeah, only person who haven't won challenges are Crystal and Jackie, so that's, you know, drama. The bottom 2 I thought was correct. I saw some people saying Gigi should have been the bottom, or Voldemort should have been the bottom, but I think the bottom 2 was right. The song I've forgotten the name of, I'll put it up here, by Shaka Khan. I have hiccups. Oh my god, thank god it's the end of the video. Okay, we can get over this. And Widow just won. Like, Widow was feeling it. Jan was just doing too much. Jan's desperation really took hold of her and overpowered her. And she was just like, wow, this. And it's like, that's not going to win you this lip sync. Look, she says in her confessional, I'm showing them I desperately want to stay. It's same thing Rockham did. Desperately wanting to stay is honestly a bad thing, because the more desperate you are, the sloppier you are. You want to be determined. Yeah, determined and desperate, different things. And I think desperate is bad in a lip sync. So Jan goes home much sooner than I expected. I didn't think she was going to make top 4. My gut feeling said no, she wasn't, but I didn't think she'd come 8th. Which isn't a bad spot to have. So I have now watched Untucked. It's very sad, Untucked. I don't have a lot to say. Gigi talks about how, she mentions a few times, like, oh, this is the first time I've got negative critiques. And I don't know, I don't think she means to sound cocky, but like the fact that she mentions that twice, it does come off a little bit. Like, you don't have to say that part. Like, you have to be very careful with what you're saying to like not offend other people, especially when there are other people in the room who have done worse than you have. Um, but like that, I don't think she meant anything by it. Um, they all talk about who's their biggest competition, and then Jackie is really shady because like you can say who your biggest competition is, but then Jackie just full on says, "Oh, I think the top three, obviously, well, the top four apart from me is Sherry, Jada, and Gigi," and I'm just like, you can do that like at the end of the competition, but there's four other girls in the room that you've just now basically told you don't think are good enough to make it to the top four. So like, fuck my drag, right? So I hope someone pulls her up on that next episode because they did cut to like all the queens like giving her a shady look, and like no one pulled her up on it, and Jackie didn't even seem to realize that what she said was shady. Um, but yeah, that was unnecessary. And maybe Jackie was trying to big up the other queens, but all she was really doing was bringing down everyone else. Um, I feel like Jada picked up on it. The way that Jada responded, even though Jada was one of the people that Jackie said would be in the top four, Jada kind of was like, okay. Oh, and she seems to be very good at picking up those kind of cues. Uh, Widow is very down in the dumps, so is Jan. And then Shaka Khan comes in, she's very lovely. I love her connection with the Widow. And then, but when Widow's like, I'm energized, I'm ready to go, Jan, you can see in her face, she's like, shit. Like, I feel like she kind of knows, which even explains why she was so desperate in the lip sync, because I think she was convinced she was going home, so she's like, I can't go home, I have to stay, I have to pull out all my tricks. And I mean, I felt like Jackie was setting her up. She was like, you better bop the house down. I'm like, not to this song, she better not. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not wishing for the downfall of New York girls, by the way. I just want to, but I would be lying if I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't a little bit comforting that these New York girls who like often win the season, so they've had a lot of New York winners, you know, a lot of them come in with huge egos. It's somewhat reassuring that you can also sometimes not all the York girls are going to win. You know, this challenge Heidi won. She's from a very small town, and people like Britta and Jan who had really sort of big expectations have gone home. Again, it's not like I'm happy they went home specifically. It's not them. It's just I don't know. I think I'm trying to make sure I'm not like offending anyone or like making it seem like I want New Yorkers to fail just because they're from New York. Again, Gigi's still one of my favourites of the season, and she's from New York, and her and Sherry have been excelling in this competition, and they're from New York. But I think this season more so than any other, the New York Queens have really suffered from huge egos. So have had the top seven been like five of them were from bloody New York, I think it would have been a mostly insufferable season because they would just been constantly going, I'm from New York, I'm from New York, I'm from New York. Even Jan, because I've got to be fair, as much as I love Jan, even Jan had like a thing of, I have such a big reputation in New York, because I did call Britta out on that, so it would be hypocritical if I didn't call Jan out. You probably cut a lot of that, to be honest. Also, editing Aaron, in case you forget to mention it, because I don't know if I did, so the Rue asks who they want to send home, or who deserves to go home, and all of them say Widow, apart from Widow, who says Jan, but kind of still concedes a little bit, like, Jan was just as bad as me, so that... You could tell she was still defeated, but at least she didn't say her own name. Which was kind of sad. It was sad that literally everyone agreed, that even Widow's closest friends in the competition, Crystal and Heidi, were like, yeah, she did the worst. Oh, I don't know. I feel like that was that's what sealed the deal, though. Like, when everyone says that your video is the worst, like, of course we're gonna be in the bottom two. Although I was thinking, I still wasn't certain if Jam was gonna be in the bottom. I mean, I kind of thought so anyway, because they tend to favour Sherry and Gigi this whole competition. So it was a lot less likely that Jam was gonna not be in the bottom two. So yeah, if you did, I feel like I just remembered that maybe I didn't include that in my video, so do that. I hope you guys enjoyed. The season's still very good. This is one of the best seasons in a while. Shame it's been plagued with so many problems. I feel like this bit of my hair is like a different colour than the rest of it. I mean, it probably is, because I've like dyed my hair and had got highlights and all these things. Also, I'm dyeing my hair silver and purple. How fun is that? I pretended to Wallace. So, this should be, if I've stuck to my guns, this should be the one in about 2 weeks straight of uploads with no breaks. So I hope you're enjoying them. And I will see you next time. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Bye-bye. Hiccups go away.